All right, welcome into Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Happy Friday to you. This is the halfway point. Mr. Tony St. James just handed me the baton to move forward. So let's just get a kind of a quick rundown and see where these markets are as I come in for the second half, right? We're kicking it off here with corn, and corn's going to show us how to bring up that board. We've got a 4 to 5 cent rally here. That's good, right? Maize up 4 3/4 cents to 468 3/4, or 2.5 cents better in SEP to 448 1/4, and Dees, well, that's up a penny. New crops at 452. We regained that 450 line. All right, so I like the green on the screen, especially now, don't we? Let's take a look at soybeans. Soybeans are just a little bit better. We got a May board up a penny and a half to 1028 3/4. We've had a 10-cent range, and we're about 3 cents off the high of it, so that'll give you an idea where we sit in that range. September's up 4 cents. If you go all the way out the deferreds at 1022 1/4, and that's just about what, 2 3/4 cents off the high of the day there. So not bad. Anywhere between say 1 to 4 cents higher in beans, and most of the bigger gains are out the deferreds. Wheat in Chicago, about 2.5 cents lower across the board. Maize down 2.5 cents. 551 1/2 is last there, and we're about 4 cents off the high of the day. And we've got a 2 1/4 cent lower board in SEP to 581 3/4. So wheat's off anywhere pretty much about 2.5 cents across the board. So that's Chicago wheat for us. Let's move over to see what the hard red wheat in Kansas City's got going on. That's about 4.5 cents lower. Maize down 4 cents to 561 3/4. And that's about 5.5 cents off the low of the day, and about, 5 cents from the highs, 5 1/4. So you can tell we're right in the middle of the range. September hard red, well, that's down 5 cents to 589 1/4, and Dees is down 5 1/4 cents to 610 even. How about that? All right. Spring wheat in Minneapolis is going to be up next, 3 3/4 cents lower in the May to 590 1/4. SEP's down 4 cents to 616. We go out to the Dees. Spring wheat in Minneapolis, that's down 4 3/4 cents to 633 3/4. All right, let's take a look at cotton, and we'll get to our next guest analyst. I've got about 120 seconds for him. May cotton up 41 points to 65.62, and we're up 42 points in July, right behind it to 66.75. Everybody put their hands together for Mr. Joe Lardy. He's with CHS up in Timber Grove Heights, Minnesota. Joe, haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. What do you got for us here today? What are you going to let us know?
Well, I think we've got a game of headline roulette going on, right? Where it seemingly every hour we get a new piece of information. Sometimes we get a little clarity, sometimes we get a little more confusion. And I think participating in these markets nowadays is incredibly volatile. It's incredibly risky.
Bingo.
And I think we're going to be subject to this for the foreseeable future anyway.
Well, you didn't ask, but I'll tell you. I agree. If you don't have to be in the market, I don't think you should be, number one, right? I mean, because all you're going to do is set yourself up for disappointment. But I think as things go on, and I'm talking weeks, maybe months even, but at least weeks, I think that we're going to start to get more and more immune to it, and things will settle down. We'll go back to be trading, fundamentals and maybe a little bit of technicals. Because, I don't know, I think it's just that anything that's got anything to do with tariffs has got everybody shaking in their boots, right? Because I would have said this, I did it on my show last week or this week. I can't remember now. It's been so busy. But what's a bigger story? The absolute obliteration of the Chinese economy, or 20% tariffs on some of the goods that go in and out of that country? I mean, arguably, you could say that, their economy is really down, and they weren't buying a lot of stuff from us anyway, or anybody else, by the way.
Yeah, zero corn.
So that could be a bigger story than tariffs, right? I mean, I don't know, but right now, anything that's got a tariff in front of it, boy, we're all talking about that. So I think that all settles down, kind of like the Russia-Ukraine war settled down after a while. Remember what happened with that? And I think that we get back to business. And I think that happens in probably a couple, 3 months.
Well, and I think as time goes by, we're going to get clarity, right? It's going to turn from a headline into, okay, these are exactly the products that are going to be subject to tariffs, and we'll know how to deal with it accordingly once we get a little bit more clarity, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. And so, and it's not helping when he puts tariff on, takes it off, puts it on, takes it off. I mean, that's
delays it, moves it. Yes, it's a challenge.
And it will all stop. It will, and then we'll be back to the way things were. But and that's really, and unfortunately, that's really all we have to talk about. I mean, it's really hard to get your hands around anything else, and that's just what I don't know. It's like this time of year for you, and I know what it's like to sit in that chair. I did it for a long time.
Yep.
You're less of a broker and more of a counselor.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, we wear many hats, and right now it's the psychologist hat, and I've got my couch ready to take a seat, please.
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you mean, because you stop talking about all the things that really move the markets and our other markets, and you start really just holding a lot of hands. Every phone call is a handhold call.
Yep. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And my crystal ball is not shiny enough to know what's going to happen at this point.
And
It's more read and react.
The only honest answer is you have no idea, and neither do they. So you just have to play. And like I said, it goes back to what we said, right? You started it off with, if you don't have to be in the markets, don't be in the markets, because that's just going to set yourself up. All right, brother, have a great weekend. Thanks for coming on a Friday. Joe, always loved kicking off the second half with you. Joe Lardy, he's with CHS up in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to go back and talk livestock right after this.